make no mistake, it's still a buyer's market, but tonight there's evidence that thanks to bargain prices and government incentives, more for sale signs are quickly turning to sold.
We put down this rock here just as a reference point about an hour ago, and you can see since then the water's gone back about another foot. The problem? In Kansas City, we generate 1 million pounds of trash every day. That's enough to fill Arrowhead Stadium in just 3 years. He had just dropped off 40,000 pounds of cargo, so he said if that was still in the back of the semi, there's absolutely no way he would have made it out alive. This sidewalk at 44th and Main doesn't even look like it's been touched. The conditions have been so bad all over the metro that it's forced a lot of people to walk in the street. That explosion was so powerful, it ripped a hole right in the middle of that wall made of stone and brick, scattering debris all over the sidewalk. But then you realize that you forgot to keep a quarter in your car. Well, not to worry, because old-fashioned meters like this could be about to expire. Police have a new tool they could be using for this specific accident. Take a look up here on the street light at 14th and Walnut. That black dome up there is a surveillance camera. You think I got what it takes? So here's how this works. On Saturday morning, Tanya and everyone else with wristbands are going to come back here, and then a number will be randomly drawn. If that number is 38, well then Tanya will be first in line. What do lawyers, county employees, and even an assistant DA in the traffic division have in common? They're all on the top of this list for racking up fistfuls of parking fines in Olathe. And they're the reason police are using the boot to kick a frustrating problem. Most people read the signs and obey the time limits when they park downtown or know there could be consequences. Can we ask you about all your unpaid parking tickets? Wanted to ask you about all your unpaid parking tickets. Saw you on the top of the list. But in Olathe, a long list of people have been ignoring their $10 fines and letting them pile up for years. Why haven't you paid those tickets?
I said I have no comment.
They don't pay their fines and they don't worry about their tickets.
In the legal hub of Johnson County, it's no secret parking is a sore subject. Each day is a steady stream of activity outside the courthouse and county administration building. The closest spots to the action are designed for quick errands or downtown customers, but police say too many government workers are clogging up the 1- and 2-hour spaces for their entire 8-hour shifts. Why are people abusing this so often?
Personally, I think it's just convenience. I think people think it's more convenient just to park right by the building and walk in rather than a 2-block walk.
This 6-story parking garage opened in the spring, creating more than 700 free parking spots. We checked it out during the peak working hours and found a level completely empty. Combined with 9 other surface lots in the surrounding area, there are more than 2,300 spaces to park your car. Reluctant to lock up parking violators, Olathe is preparing to do the next best thing, putting a giant lock on their cars. The city is about to purchase several wheel clamps like this to fix the problem. The infamous boot is supposed to prevent car owners from driving away until their debt is paid.
If you have outstanding fines, that if you pay your fines, you won't end up with a boot on your car.
We have you on the top of a list here in Olathe with 55 unpaid parking tickets. Do you have any response to that? Downtown, we caught up with county employee Michael Henneke. You work in the court administration. You have 55 unpaid parking tickets. How do you explain that?
Okay, I didn't realize that it was that much until just recently.
To his credit, Henneke wrote a $550 check to the city later that day. You've got 40 on the city's list. They've got you down for 40 unpaid tickets. What's the explanation? Ray Alvarez had his car in a 2-hour spot outside his mortgage loan business, even though the newly opened parking garage was just a block away from his office.
I cruised through the all-day parking this morning. There wasn't any open slots.
Because we were just over there and there were a lot of open spots.
Well, it's lunch hour.
I mean, we were over there like around 10 this morning.
Really?
Yeah. Ray claimed he didn't have any tickets stashed in his glove box and told us the amount of money he owed caught him off guard.
I mean, I know, it's embarrassing.
We followed him to the municipal court where he requested a copy of his record and said he planned to settle up.
Right now, I'm just trying to do the responsible thing. I'm taking the high road.
If I'm not going to have an $80,000 car with a boot on it being hauled off to some tow lot.
And John Gersley will grudgingly fork over his $330 of fines instead of putting his Jag in jeopardy. Unhappy about the safety of this pedestrian walkway outside his office, the lawyer told us he'd ignored 33 parking tickets, one for every year he's practiced law in Olathe, to make a point.
I'm going to pay my parking tickets, and I'll find yet another way to be a jerk to the city of Olathe, because they've been a jerk to me.
Since we got our hands on the list, a handful of people have paid up, including the assistant DA. The top person on the list has almost 140 unpaid tickets. We went to her DeSoto house, but neighbors told us she and her husband had suddenly packed up and moved. We also tracked down the number 2 offender all the way in Japan. Find out what he had to say about his 75 unpaid tickets by going to NBCActionNews.com. Ryan Caff, NBC Action News.
Chuck Pulliam has to carry his bike around in pieces these days. Like him, it's in no shape for a spin.
God, that hurts.
Tonight, the 65-year-old is nursing a fractured tailbone, an injury he got during one of his routine rides around the downtown airport with his son on Saturday afternoon.
The car comes up behind us, honking the horn and yelling, get off the road. This road's for cars, not bicycles.
Chuck says he and his son tried to move right so the car could pass.
Then she yelled, I'll kill you.
That's when he heard the car accelerate and then felt the impact.
I thought I was dead.
The collision mangled his back wheel and sent him rolling to the pavement.
It'll just swell up.
Along with the tailbone, his elbow and back are also healing from cuts and bruises. Adding insult to injury, the driver didn't even stop.
I could see her put her hand out the window, giving us the finger.
The story surprised other bikers along the airport loop. Several told us they use the route because it's an easy place to share the road with an occasional car. We even saw a high school cross-country team taking a practice run tonight. Chuck believes the driver works at the airport as an air traffic controller because his son later spotted the car parked in the lot. He's hoping she's caught for a hit and run that seemed to be motivated by bike rage.
I could tell in her voice that she just didn't like bicycles on the same road as automobiles.
An advocate with Kansas City's Bicycle Club said there are incidents of harassment toward bikers all over the city, but this is the first time she's heard of a problem by the downtown airport, which is typically considered a popular and safe spot for bikers. Meantime, Kansas City's assault squad is working the case, but so far, no charges have been filed. We will be sure to follow up and let you know what happens. Ryan Cath, NBC Action News.
Tonight in Olathe, hundreds of perfectly healthy trees are dying. They're being bulldozed to the ground and pushed into a giant pile where they will soon be burned.
I probably helped plant these in that 2001 or 2002.
The farm coordinator at Hermes Nursery can hardly stand to watch.
The trees, you get attached to them. It's not like a person or an animal, but there's an attachment. You feel like it's part of you because you put all your work and labor into it.
In better days, the trees are supposed to end up in new housing developments or streetscapes like this one outside the Federal Reserve in downtown Kansas City. But as the real estate industry stalls and local governments chop budgets, a growing number of trees are getting axed.
This is the best time in history to buy trees. With the glut in the market, the price of trees is actually the best it's ever been.
Even at bargain rates, there are few buyers. The economy slows, the trees keep growing. The destructive cycle repeats itself.
And again, the only thing that's wrong with them is they're so big. They're too big.
At 5 inches or more, tree trunks are considered too costly to dig up, transport, and then maintain. Instead, nurseries are forced to knock down their investments.
Which means in 2 to 3 years, there's going to be a tree shortage in our market, and tree prices could double and maybe triple.
Tonight, there's hope federal stimulus money could provide a green solution. These are literally shovel-ready projects, and Bob Helgett is sick of seeing them go to waste.
Then they tell me I have to come in and dose them out. It hurts inside a little bit. I mean, you know, it bothers me some.
The Mid-America Regional Council, or MARC, is working with metro cities to secure funding from the stimulus package and believes money for so-called green infrastructure should include trees just like this. Meantime, if you'd like to get one of those trees that would otherwise go to waste, we put that information on our website.